Hey YouTube, Alan here. So today I want to go over, just quickly, not too much detail, but what map system or map app do I use when I go off-road in the Jeep. And right now it's still a little bit of a kludgy process because while Apple has opened up the CarPlay app, Google Maps still doesn't function. So when you look here, General CarPlay, and you look here, see there is no Google Maps available at this time for CarPlay. So it is still not an option to actually run your navigation via CarPlay using Google Maps, which is kind of a sad state of affairs. But since I'm running Apple Maps in the Jeep on CarPlay, it's okay as long as you have cellular coverage and you want to use a route, because basically you cannot go into Apple Maps and like download maps for to the phone for use when you don't have a cell connection. So if you have a cell connection and you make a route on Apple Maps, it will actually cache around the route, and so even if you get into an area where there is no cell reception, your route will still show correctly on the Maps app. So let me just go to why don't I go to Molas Lake Park and Campground. There we go. So this is where I'm going to be heading in a couple of weeks for a fall camp out. And so here on Apple Maps, I'm just going to say, okay, let's route this, and then, so I'm going the back way. Let's go this way. There we go. Yep, let's go that way. Okay, so I don't want to go interstate all the way, so I'm going to Denver and then 287, or I think that's what it is. And now what you do is you just tell it, there we go. And now it is taking us from here all the way. And this is all, so let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so this is all, you see here, 29, we go down, we go through Omaha, 680, and then we hit 80, there we go, and now we're going basically all the way, oops, I lost it, there we go, and now we're going all the way to Denver, and you see it's sometimes slow to load. That's because it is still caching or downloading the tiles around the map so that it has the whole route tiles available in CarPlay because they are on the phone. So that works reasonably well if you start out from a position where you have cell connectivity. The problem is that if you just drive around and with the maps up, so that would be like this, right? If you just drive around with the maps up like this, the app doesn't know where you're going, so it doesn't know which tiles to put into cache. So then what happens, and let me see if I can simulate this. Let me just go into airplane mode. There we go. Okay, so when I'm now in airplane mode, see, this is what's going to happen. And this has happened to me numerous times when I'm out on a trail, because you see, it only has the tiles that are right around my location. When I go away from my location in airplane mode, which simulates me losing connectivity, there we go. And believe me, I've run around in the Jeep with the CarPlay screen looking like this for, I mean, typical is hours until I get back into a cell service area, and then I can reload the maps and make a quick route, and then I have the cache again, and I can actually see what I'm doing when I'm driving around instead of just having a grid of nothing. Now, completely different from that is when you're looking at Google Maps, because Google Maps, you have this thing called offline maps, and you see here I have pre-saved the home area. So this is basically the area around my home, and I don't need a lot because I don't go off-roading here locally that much where I wouldn't have a cell signal. But up near Pisgah, there's a bunch of dead spots there, so that's why I have this loaded here. And you can see it usually expires every 30 days, and it will tell you before it expires, and you can just update it. Or like before a big trip, I would go in and I would update. Now, again, since I'm going to Western Colorado in September, I actually have preloaded the whole area around Ridgeway and Silverton and Ouray. So all that is now local on my phone, and even with airplane mode, if I go to let's say I go again to the Molas Lake Park and Campground. There we go. See, and it tells me there's no network connection, but still I have all the data. Usually I would download this ahead of time like I did here, and so basically if I was to drive around now, okay, with the maps up on CarPlay, I would still have all this information available to me on the screen, and I can go. Nice thing about using Google Maps is that I still have all the information available. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually go back. Let me go back here and get out of. Okay, so when you go for here for example, I have Western Colorado, so it's saved. It's 52 megabytes almost, and it's the whole area around like Silverton and Ouray and Ridgeway, Telluride. All that area is in here. So even if I lose network connectivity, I'm still going to be able to use all the information that is on the map, and that way I'm not going to get lost. The other thing I like about Google Maps that is a kind of a little bit of a drawback on Apple Maps is that if I were to, so let's go here again. So I'm going to do directions. Okay, and you see from my location to Moeller Park, and it takes me the same route via I-80 and then probably down 287 or whatever that road is called, and then 50 once I hit Salinas. Now the thing is, so on this route here you can see I'm going straight, but what if I want to add a stop in there? What if I want to take and go to let's say Super 8, there we go, Super 8 Henderson, there we go. So that's a Super 8 right next to Denver. Okay, so now I have have a stop in between. So I have actually the starting point. I have point A, which is the Super 8 hotel, and then point B, which is the campground. So if I do this and I say done, there we go. Now the route will take me from home to Denver. And you see that's going to be about 8 hours. And then from Denver on to Moeller's Lake campground. That way I can have multiple stops, so I can create a route that isn't just from point A to point B. It can be from point A to point B to point C to point D and so on. There's a limit, but usually I don't have more than 3 stops anyhow. Or if I want, for example, if I know that the Jeep with all the stuff fully loaded, it's not going to get much over 250 miles. So I can look ahead of time and find, for example, Flying J's or Pilot, because I have a discount card with them. So if I can pre-populate those stops that I know I'm going to have to take, I can have destinations, and so I know exactly how far away I am from my next fuel stop, how many hours, how many miles. So that way, even if I have like tougher headwinds than I anticipated, I will know, will I be able to make it to that gas station? And if not, I may have to go and make changes to my plans. So that's why this is actually a nice feature that Apple Maps just doesn't have. Again, Apple Maps, you create a route, it's from point A to point B, it will cache the tiles around the route, but that's it. With Google Maps, not only can you have multiple stops on the route or multiple waypoints, but you can also download the maps for an area locally to your phone, and then even without cell reception, your map is still going to continue to show you where you need to go. So that's why I really hope that they release the Google Maps option for CarPlay really soon here. Again, hope this helps, and that's it. Stay safe.